Hello again, back to work on the Impreza stage rally car. There's been some ups and some downs. I've got a bit sort of down with it before. I was just putting too much time and effort into losing power on it. I've got to fit the restrictor and it's going to reduce the output of the engine, so it's been very frustrating. It's been fighting me all the way, but I've decided now I'm going to pull the engine out. I need to put a clutch in anyway. It was supposed to go to the garage, but looking at the engine, most of it's out anyway. So yeah, I just got to disconnect the aircon, power steering, pump, and the exhaust's off. There's a couple of power leads, and that's it. It's the bell housing, and then the engine should pop out, so I can put a new clutch on it, and then I can put the engine on a stand and put it in the garage, and I can work on it inside, rather than the only time I can work on it is like the weekends because it gets dark too early. At least I can work on it in the garage. So I'm going to pull the engine out now. Right, we're at March with Mexico, and I'm using this milling machine to open up the sides so the restrictor can fit in it. I've never used one before, so it's all a bit new to me. I'm learning as I go. We're getting there. We're going to keep taking it off up to this lip here, and then in fact I can go probably a little bit. I've worked out that there's a line there to go to, and then just nibble away. I might have to clean it up a bit, but yeah, it's not too bad. Right, that's been milled out now, and the restrictor fits nice and snugly in there. So, but that's got a step in there now. So I think what I'll do is I'll put a bevel on that. I'll have to be careful though, because I don't know. I'll put the housing back on the turbo. I don't want to do any machining if it's anywhere near where the turbine blades are. And that's created another problem, because it sticks out a lot further than the original one did. When this, which is a nightmare to get on and off, well, to get off, that was onto there. So whether or not we can get this bit to go right in here, so that will still attach there, but we can't do that anymore because I have bolts in there holding it on. Unless we put a couple of bolts in here. Yeah. Maybe if we heat that up, we might be able to get it to swallow it all. Go on that much. It's just going to be so hard to get it on when it's in the car. That's a tomorrow Tim problem. So I think, yeah, I'm going to clean the housing up, because I put tape on it to stop all the swarf and everything getting inside it. But I know it's still got swarf on it. I need to give it a good clean. I don't want to get any swarf on there. Try it in place, see how far they stick up on the inside. If they don't stick up too far, I can chamfer that. I can get in there with my die grinder. I could even do it with the restrictor in and just blend it in, so it's all as one. Then I can put the bolts in, hold together, then I can get the turbo seal on it, and then start putting it back together again. Well, my idea now is that there's so much stuff off the engine that it's probably not much work to get the engine out now, to put a clutch in it, rather than taking the gearbox out. So I might see if the garage I've booked into have ordered the clutch yet. Well, I had an idea last night that I could cut. We need to get. We're going to be that much too long with the inlet manifold now. It's all 50mm. So I thought, right, I can cut 50mm off here. I've been learning about plastic welding and weld it back together again, but that is critical. That can't be anywhere other than there, which is governed. So we've got to go from there, that's got to be in the same place. So we can only, yeah, I don't want to start moving these. We can only sort of do any adjustment from here onwards. But looking down the turbo, the restrictor, there is like a lip, but when I take the restrictor out, it progressively widens. So what I was thinking I could do is if I cut this down to where the diameter inside is the same diameter as this lip, that means it will drop down another 20mm, say. So the bit I'm governed by is the end of the rubber went onto there. So if I go down another 20mm, that'll be 30mm difference. I could probably squeeze that. I could take bits of this off and Jubilee clip it. I think that's possible. I think I can do something like that. So I don't know about aerodynamics, and apparently they've got to be twice the length of the, or 3 times the length of the diameter or something. I don't know. I don't know how they work or what difference it makes. If it's in and tapered out, is that going to affect it? I don't know. But I'm a bit sort of, I'm not making, these are critical. If any pipes come off here, that's going to not be good. This side is, the air is being sucked through it, it's not getting pumped through. It's from there onwards where there's going to be high pressure, and it's got to be really good. So I could make something from scratch, but if I can move that down, cut that off, we'll leave that go over. If I could get that inside there, and this, I've got the bolts coming out here still for the tag. Right, a bit more thinking about it. I'm so busy with work, I can't actually do any work on it at the moment, so I'm doing a lot of thinking about it. Let's see if any more ideas come up. Well, I'm just checking out what pipes do what, and marking it all. And this little pipe that goes to the top of the turbo, it's got a big split in it. So I never would have found that otherwise. So that's a relief. So I need to get some more of that pipe. I think I just need to replace everything I come across that I can replace easily. And a lot of these, this is the nasty pipe that gave me out of a job to get off that pipe. And it just runs round and goes to the intercooler. Yeah, from there to the intercooler. Whilst I was in there, I did heater, core flush, and quite a bit of brown came out of it. I kept going, I just got the garden hose, had to heat the end up a bit to get the hose around it, pumped it through one way and then pumped it through the other way, and loads of brown came out of it. So the problem I was having was half the heating would work inside, the passenger side would get really warm, well, it was like the air conditioning was on the driver's side, and apparently that's what the problem is. So we'll see when it's up and running again. Power steering reservoir. So if I take this pump off, I should be able to just put it down there, out the way. If I take this compressor out for the aircon, that means I should be able to move these out the way without disconnecting anything, hopefully. Power lead. And then the bell housing looks so easy to get to the bolts. So let's get on it and get it out. And then I can build all the turbo and everything up in the garage, rather than bending over the engine bay. I think that will make life a lot easier. It's another day. I've got all the bolts are out. I just can't get the gearbox away from the the engine. The bell housing won't come away from the engine. So I've just started getting it to go. What I'm going to do is wedge a couple of scrapers down there or little screwdrivers, and I'm going to put a bit of heat on the bell housing with a heat gun, not a blowtorch, and see if that helps. Apparently I've googled it and that's what people have said will work for them, so I'll try that out and see if it works. Well, I had to get a screwdriver down this side and just keep tapping it, because it's the top bit had freed off but the bottom bit was stuck in there. I don't know if it's a good thing because this hasn't been apart, or I mean, I've never come across a car with I thought it was all pretty straight sailing after I got all the bolts out. I thought it was just a matter of hoiking it out. So yeah, now I can just pull it out. I'll give this face a good clean up, both sides, the engine and that, because I've been sticking screwdrivers down it now. Doesn't look too bad. Now yeah, let's get on and get it out. That's the pressure plate and friction plate out. Friction plate is down to the rivets. What is it? Don't know what thickness they're supposed to be. Seems to be like fluffy stuff in it. Anyway, new one. You can see where the dowel's been pulling out the engine block. It's obviously steel on aluminium and it's corroded, and that's what's been holding it in. So when I got the screwdriver down the side, that's just managed to pop it off, and then that all came out then. And these must be different. The earlier ones, I remember you had to put a pin in. You had to put I think it was an M6 bolt in and slide a pin out to release the clutch fork, or else the engine wasn't coming out. But obviously changed the idea. I think that was a push type and this is a pull type, or the other way around, something like that. Right, let's get it on the stand now. That's the cam belt on. It's got timing marks that line up with marks on the pulleys, and where the pulleys meet up. So there's one on the crank. Same this side. So they all seem to be lining up. What I'll do is rotate it twice. That way it'll bring it all back to where it started from. If you only do it once, the cam timing is all out. The crank will say it's at the right place, but nothing else will line up. So you rotate it twice and it should all be back to normal again. The way I did it was I just removed, I got a screwdriver under the tensioner. I lifted it up and I put a small drill bit through this hole, which locks the tensioner. Then I can undo that, slide that off. But during this time, this one popped. It sprang round because it's on the, it's pushing the lobe down on the valve. The cam lobe is pushing the valve down. So, but it's easy enough. I'll just put a big Allen key in there to bring it back to where it was. It was quite well, an easy job to do, really. So yeah, I'm going to put these little brackets. Here they are. That go on here to prevent the cam coming off. That one's still on, that one. So I'll put those back on before I forget. Then I'll rotate it twice, then I'm going to leave it, and I'll come back to it later and double check everything. Make sure that's the only bolt I've undone on the cam belt side of things. So I'll just check that and then rotate it and check the time marks line up again. The guy who sold it to me said he'd just put a new cam belt on it. Who knows? I mean, I don't know how long it takes for the writing to come off, or the timing marks, but I guess it would have had timing marks on it. So anyway, it's done now. One less thing to worry about. Still plenty more though. Oh, the guy who's going to map it, he said it's an hour and a half's drive from Portsmouth. And I was going to put it on the trailer and take it up, and he said you'll find to drive it as long as you don't go on boost. He said you can go up to 5 psi of boost, but don't go any more than that. So I presume most of it will just be 60 mile an hour or whatever. I don't have to go flat out on the motorway. I can just take it easy, drive it there, and then it should be safe to do what I want on the way back. So, well, that's a bit further down the line, but the guy seems to know what he's talking about. And the Subaru has got a ProDrive ECU, which he said not many people can map, but he said he can do it. He seems to know what he's talking about. So I'll leave it in his capable hands. I haven't got a clue about mapping. It's all a bit black magic to me. And I'd hate to have a go at something as it's got to be just right, the turbo engine, otherwise it'll pink and detonate and you get loads of problems. And apparently if it detonates, it shocks the piston, which in turn shocks the conrod, which knocks the oil out of the joint, and that's another reason why the big ends go on these. So fingers crossed it's going to be kept standard. I think the horsepower at the moment is 257, and he reckons even with the restrictor in and a remap it'll go to 270, and I'll get more torque, but it just will not rev past 5,000 revs. Oh, and I found off one of the cars that I've bought a shift light. So I did some Googling and I found out how to program it. So I can program that for the paltry 4,500 revs, or because I know I'm going to want to rev it more than I'm supposed to. So I need a shift light just to make sure that I don't over rev it or drive it when there's no torque. Right, I've been getting as much as I can done on the Subaru, but unfortunately the guy who's going to map it can't do it before 2 weeks time. So my mate was going to get me a generic map and put it on, but I've been told do not do that because it's got a good chance of blowing up. It's got to be done for the car, live map, everything as it is. So yeah, I've had to swap entries for the dirt rally and revert back to the trusty old E30 I've just picked up today. And anyway, it's not about that car. So the engine's in the garage. I've just done the cam belt. I've ordered the pipe work to extend these sensors. I found out that the pipe the inlet pipe, all the pipes going to it aren't necessary. They don't need to go to it, and most of them are emissions. There's 2 sensors that you can get mapped out, but I've got to drive it to the mappers, so I will be leaving those on. The more I can leave it as it was, the easier it'll make my life. So I think that, yeah, and I've got, with the restrictor, I'm thinking we can get away with being 25mm further this way, further out. So I think a lot of these are going to reach. I'm doing the restrictor tomorrow, so I can hopefully put that on. I've just been drilling out the stud that was too damaged. I mean, these are loose. I managed to get them out. This one was bad, so I need to get a tap in there and give it a clean out. I've done as much drilling as I dare. I daren't go anymore. So then I can, once the restrictor's done, I can put the turbo on. That's my oil bath, just from drilling. That's a door keep. Just seemed to rest in there. It's so much easier in the garage as well, and working on it here rather than over in the engine bay. It'll be nice to get the turbo back on, all these pipes back on it, and then ready to go back in the car. I've got the clutch. I've just paid the import duty on it today, so that should be here, should be in the island. So I should be able to put that on, and then let's get the engine back in, which is a shame because it was so close. It's just the mapper said he's away next week. He can't do it this week. And plus I've got to book the ferry to get the car over there. And I don't know if there'll be space on the boat, and it's all a bit close. We've got the rally in, I think it's less than 2 weeks now. So the E30, I just pulled it out of the garage, it started, it drives, it's, yeah, we're not doing that car. I get distracted, don't I? Right, so just carry on, sort this out. Shame about the not being able to use Subaru, but I'm going to carry on. I want to get this done sooner rather than later. I hate having things in bits, and it just makes a mess. There's stuff everywhere, so I'll have a tidy up now, get it all back together again, put the clutch on it and get it back in the car.